that there is no future tense per se in the English language, and that is because there is no inflection for the verbs that show a future time. Like, for example, they have it for the present and the past. You can see examples here that you go from study to studies to express present actions, or you can go from get to got to express past tense. And also, other languages have these inflections, like in Spanish, right? We have corrí, corré, correré. That means that with one word, we can express future. Therefore, morphologically speaking, there is no future form of the verbs in English. Instead of that, we use periphrasis, which is a group of words that is used instead of inflection. Okay, I chose the future tense because I consider it relevant to develop our students' communicative competence. It has so many layers, it expresses so many different intentions, and there are so many ways of using it that it is important that any speaker of English as a second language know how to express his or her ideas in English in order to be communicatively competent. For example, if I have an enthusiastic student that comes to me and says, "Hey, teacher, I'm going to go to the movies, so my next question is going to be, really, what time is the movie?" And then communication is going to be broken because this student does not understand why am I asking about the time of the movie. I understand, and any proficient English speaker understands that when you use this, as we are going to talk later, it is for a plan. That means that you have everything set up for a future action. So in that spirit is that I'm going to continue with my presentation, taking into account communicative competence. Right? Number 2 is about expressing the future. Generally, we use, for the simple present, we use simple present forms. For the past tense, we use past tense forms, but that is because we are certain about the past. So we express the past using just a suffix, not changing the suffix of the verbs. So we are almost sure about the present, and in the same way, the English language reflects that and uses just a suffix. But how sure are we about the future? The future is uncertain, and therefore there are many degrees how certain we are is going to be expressed by using different ways of expressing the future tense. The future time, excuse me. We use the simple present, but only when time is set by timetable. That means that it is something that is not likely going to change. So we use the simple present. Okay, for example, I know he sounds crazy, but he says the end is near, and he is pretty sure about that. Okay, near in time. We use the present continuous for arrangements. And I had quite, I questioned myself about, okay, what about these and these, right? Present continuous and simple present. Arrangements is for when you talk about plans with other people. So we are going to go to the movies, okay? Or when you talk about your future intentions, like for be going to. Okay? We convey different messages. This is for the near future, then we use the simple present and the present continuous. To convey different messages, we use be going to and will, which we are going to analyze later on, and all modals express future as well. Okay, the difference between be going to and will are clearly stated here. Sometimes them in thinking that they mean the same. Actually, they don't, as we saw here. Right, so we use will in 4 occasions. To begin with, we use it to make formal announcements, like this solemn act. Okay, your defense will be on the 11th. All right, so that is a formal announcement. We use it for promises or willingness. Like, I'm pretty sure you have seen many English movies where they say, "Will you marry me?" That is very powerful promise, right? And willingness, it means that nobody forces me to do that. So if I see a lady carrying heavy bags, I go ahead and I say, I will help you. And nobody forced me to say that. On the other hand, if I am going to help you, it's like, okay, what's my option? Okay, you cannot carry that. So again, communicative competence. I use will to express willingness. I don't use be going to. Okay? And be going to is used for plans and intentions, as we already saw, informal situations, and both of them are used for predictions. So I would like to spend a little bit more time here. When you have previous information, like for example, I saw Patricia's pre-defense and my prediction was that she will pass this. Because I have previous knowledge that made me or helped me make that prediction. On the other hand, if you want to make predictions based on facts or evidence, if you want, or based on your own senses, you use be going to. And the most common one is, it is going to rain, because you can see the dark clouds, you can smell rain somehow. Okay, one more example would be, when you get home tired from a long day, you go ahead and, oh my God, the food is going to be delicious. So you use be going to, you don't use will. Okay, because you are sensing the evidence at that moment. And they are both used to make predictions. Okay, it would sound quite strange if you say, it will rain soon. Like, what? Why would you use will? Right? It is not the correct word to express your intentions or your predictions, excuse me. So, we have seen 1, 2, and 3, and I would like to go to future forms. Even though there is no future tense, there are future forms, just like any of the other tenses. Like we have the present perfect, present perfect continuous, and present continuous. We also have future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. The last one is rarely used. Okay. So the future continuous. By the way, all this is my future. Okay, the past, and this is all future. So when do we use the future continuous? We use it to convey the message that I will be doing something at a very specific time in the future. Alright, so that's why it says that it is a precise moment in the future. Like tomorrow, at this time, Patricia will be celebrating her finishing the university. Aren't you? Okay, so it is for a precise moment on the future. On the other hand, if you use the future perfect, that means that an action is going to be finished either before a set date or before other event. So I can say, I will have finished my presentation by 5 p.m. So I have a time, or I will have known my grade after the jury debate. So that is an event, it's not a date used as a time marker here. The future perfect continuous is one of the least used because three things need to happen for you to use this tense. First of all, the action needs to be starting in the future, happening for some time, and still in progress. So very little, I don't know, it was difficult for me to think about examples, but I went with a little bit of storytelling and to show you how will here, okay, I'm sorry, and I forgot to move this, I apologize, so we are here. And with the storytelling, maybe with examples, you know, a picture speaks loudly. So, here, I promise I will love you forever. That is a formal, very serious promise. And then, will you marry me? Here we have an example of will used as willingness. Nobody's forcing him to ask her to marry him. Like here, let's say another example. And she says, oh my God, yes, I will. And this is a perfect example of a decision while speaking. Even though we know that women always decide to say, yes, I will, before, but this is a spontaneous decision. Okay? And then, of course, they have to plan the wedding, and he says, I will be paying for the ring at this time tomorrow. He was not quite sure whether she was going to say yes or no. So, he didn't pay for the ring yet. And, of course, women are always preoccupied with their weight. And she says, I start a diet tomorrow. And that is the use of a simple present to express future time. And then she uses the future perfect to say, I will have lost 20 kilos by January 11th, which is the date of the wedding. And the future perfect continuous, this is the only example I was able to come up with. I have some more, but they will have been enjoying their marriage for 2 years, by the time they get divorced. Yes. And that is how we use the future continuous, the future perfect, and the future perfect continuous. Now, modal verbs, they all express future in one way or another. And you can see the degrees of certainty here. This is where you can actually almost touch how certain you are about the future. If you say I would, that means that something has to happen for you to do something in the future. So it is a conditional, or you use it for an invitation to express preference and requests. Can, even though it expresses present ability, if you are able to do something today, you will be able to do it tomorrow. Alright, also conditional requests. I would like to stop a little bit here because it has to do with the future a little bit more. Could and may and might are often confusing for students. Could shows possibility. For example, I could go to Cochabamba by train or by bus. So it shows alternative. I guess no situation, a 50-50 situation if you want. On the other hand, may expresses probability. That means it may rain, you are not sure, it's from 20%. They always say 80% chance of rain, right? So you can use may or might. So this probability could go from 0 to 100. Have to and must also express future. And the main difference here is that have to expresses external application. That means something makes, for example, okay, I want to get a husband. So I have to lose weight. It's not because I want, because it is very difficult, right? On the other hand, must expresses internal obligation, compromise for the future. For example, if I have diabetes, I must lose weight, and that is internal, something that internally is going to drive my actions in the future. Okay? Shall, should, and ought. They also express that they're not so much in the future, but it is advice, and you give advice for the future, definitely. Okay, and had better, yeah, that's future. You know, it's a warning. And I have my example here on how the degrees go. I'm sorry that you are far away. So she can ask, she's pregnant by the way, will you marry me? Would you marry me? Could you marry me? She's getting desperate. Okay? You have to marry me. Even more desperate. Okay? And then she gets mad and she says, you'd better marry me. So the degrees are clearly shown by using a little bit of storytelling. Finally, I would like to finish with something that I discovered while I was teaching. I'm a teacher at the CPA. And these are phenomenal verbs or ways to express the future using infinitives and perfect infinitives. They have to do with communicative competence when it comes to communicating your plans, your dreams, especially in written English. So we have that we can use infinitives, just plan, expect, intend, or hope, followed by an infinitive. Okay? But if you say I plan, what is that a native speaker or a proficient English speaker understands? He or she knows that only if you die, that is going to happen. Okay? Like, for example, I don't know, I can say, I plan to travel to Punta Cana because I paid for everything. Who? I'm pretty sure, like, of course, that, but no one else could stop me from traveling if I have paid for everything already. Okay? Expect is when you are not that sure or something could happen. That's why I said I expect not to pay for anything because it is all included. So maybe I want to buy some souvenirs, and that is not going to make it 100% sure. Oh, these numbers, by the way, is not fixed. I'm not fixed. Okay, just a way of expressing again a degree of certainty. When I say intend, it's very similar to could, because that means that I have not taken the decision. For example, I intend to go parasailing. I have seen it, but it's up there. Like, really? Maybe it is dangerous. So I don't know whether I'm going to say yes or no. Finally, I have hope. And that is just a very little chance of happening, okay? So I know that everything is included, therefore food is included, and I love food. I love to eat. So I am going to say that I hope not to gain a lot of weight. But it's just a hope. It will happen. Most likely, if I say hope, is not sure, intent, if I didn't make a decision, expect something can go my way, get in my way. Plan is because I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen. And in the same way, you can use the perfect infinitives. You can go with this, expressing future plans, to using basic future forms like will, going to, the simple present, to having a paragraph written in high-level English using great grammar and expressing your plans, your ideas, your dreams, and everything you plan to do in the future in a correct way. Thank you.